Now, we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary with a look back at the biggest business stories of the decade. Without a doubt, one of the largest stories was the wild ride of the Canadian dollar. The loonie has gone from historic lows to record highs. The strong dollar was good news for Canadians who like to engage in a little cross-border shopping, and for snowbirds as well. But it was not so good news for Canadian exporters. And here with another BNN flashback is Michael Kane.
In 2002, the loonie was worth less than 62 cents U.S., the lowest point in 15 years. It was so low, many suggested ditching it altogether, or at least pegging it to the American greenback.
Canada would have the same advantages as California.
Everyone had a theory about the dollar's poor performance, a fragile global economy, low oil prices, even the decline of once mighty Nortel. Politicians blamed something else.
Lame liberal loonie.
Then Finance Minister Paul Martin fired back.
What we're dealing with is not the weakness of other currencies, but the strength of the U.S. currency.
And then, in 2003, something happened. Prices for oil and other commodities started to rise. The loonie went along for the ride. By 2005, it was worth 85 cents U.S. and rising.
We estimate that $10 on the oil price is worth 3 cents on the Canadian dollar. If we look back about a year ago, Canadian dollar was 81 cents, and the price of oil has gone up $20, and there's your arithmetic.
In 2007, something not seen in a generation: parity. Canadians felt a surge of pride and rushed south of the border to revel in their newfound purchasing power. But for exporters, it was a nightmare.
The Canadian dollar?
Canadian dollar.
Canadian dollar.
1 cent U.S. change in a Canadian loonie will be about 3 cents a share in our earnings. So there is a relationship there which we need to figure out how to manage better.
Parity didn't last long. The recession struck, oil prices plunged, and suddenly the U.S. dollar seemed like the only safe place to hide. Now, as the recession fades, the loonie is on the march again, riding the momentum of a global recovery.
Now, speaking of parity, David Rosenberg, the chief economist with Gluskin Sheff and a frequent guest on Business News Network, has said today that he thinks parity for the Canadian dollar against the U.S. dollar is achievable by the end of the year. David Rosenberg with those comments today. That is it for the Business News. I'm Mark Bunting. Thanks a lot for joining us. Have a good night.